What's going on, guys? It's Rage, and welcome to the full release of Xdefiant. Finally, the game is officially out. No more betas, no more limited tests, none of that. So through the course of this video, I'm just going to be talking about my overall thoughts, what I like, what I dislike. Of course, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, skill-based matchmaking, and this new welcome playlist. Learn to play Xdefiant with other players under level 25. Skill-based matchmaking is on for this introductory playlist. This has been something that I've been campaigning for since Modern Warfare 2019. I feel like this is a really good way to have skill-based in the game. The thing is that I've been making the comparison to Call of Duty World at War. Now, back in the day of Call of Duty World at War, it was the only time we saw a playlist called Boot Camp, which again allowed new players to go ahead and play the game, and once you got past level 8, you were done. That playlist was locked, and then you were free just to explore the other playlists. This again, I feel like, is a really good way to gauge skill-based matchmaking. For the players that don't play as much, whether it could be either a level lock, like here hitting level 25, level, time lock, certain things like that. So the players who aren't very good, that are actually new to the game and don't play it super often, can still get enough time and experience into the game, so once they get to that certain point in time of hitting X level or X amount of time played, when they go to play basically the full experience of the game, it's a lot more relaxed. Like, they have a much better idea as to how to play the game without feeling like they're completely lost. Again, the overall topic of skill-based matchmaking has been talked about and again just beat to death. We all know how it works. We all know how it's implemented. I again do completely understand the idea and the purpose of having skill-based matchmaking in a lot of games. I just feel that in, for example, just to compare it for Call of Duty's sake, there's ways that it could be implemented better. I totally understand that, of course, you want new players playing the game. You don't always want to see people just, getting punched in the mouth over and over again. That makes sense. We get it. But there can be that introductory learning curve to where it's like, okay, hey, here for X amount of time, that's where the skill-based matchmaking is going to be heaviest, just so you get a feel for the game. And then once you get to a certain point, you can take the training wheels off. We all don't sit there and ride a bike forever with the training wheels on. Like, it's okay. You can take the training wheels off. You're gonna fall off a couple of times. Again, though, it is just really nice to see this kind of implementation done for it, and I'm curious to see how it's going to affect, or how they're going to basically get the stats for it. Get the stats and the data for it, really see how either positively or negatively it affected this kind of playlist, but we'll see. As far as the casual playlist goes, I know there's no skill-based matchmaking, but it still feels like in almost every lobby I'm playing, there's someone jumping around sweating their heart out with SMGs. I know it's all based on connection and everything like that. I know this is also a very new game, a very popular game that people have been looking forward to for a very long time. So I completely understand people wanting to just, hop in, get the best kind of gameplay that they can possibly get, everything like that. Or again, just go absolutely crazy. Like, I completely understand it. Now, do keep in mind, I'm not sitting here saying that, oh no, they're lying to us. There absolutely is skill-based. No, I'm not saying that at all. I feel that this is a pretty important and honestly a pretty realistic conversation to have when it comes to skill-based matchmaking. We all know, again, how it works. We all know how it's implemented, how strong it can feel. I think the thing of it is, when it comes to skill-based matchmaking and really how it ties into an enjoyment of a game, is really just how you go about it. How you go about it, how you look at it, how much you let it affect your mental while you're playing the game. But the thing to note is, given where we are in the state of video games nowadays, first-person shooters have been popular for a very long time. I'm just speaking as someone who's been playing Call of Duty since 2007. I know a lot of us players really want to go back to the feeling of, Modern Warfare 2, 2009, Black Ops 2, 2012, the golden age of Call of Duty, where it didn't feel like there was skill-based matchmaking. Or again, even if there really was skill-based matchmaking, it definitely felt nowhere near as strong as it did today. It's very important to realize that first-person shooters are very popular, and the overall players in video games have gotten a lot better. Players of video games are consistently getting better and better. It's never really gonna feel like 2009, 2012 again, where, somebody's just picking up an Xbox 360 controller for the first time again. I do again think it really is a very nice benefit to Xdefiant that they're super open about the skill-based matchmaking, having none of it in the casual playlist, but again, having it in the ranked modes, which is what I personally think how it should be done. By all means, have these sorts of introductory playlists where new players can get involved with the game with skill-based matchmaking, so they learn how to play the game and such. Of course, have skill-based matchmaking and everything like that in ranked gameplay modes where, again, you would expect it to be, and then in the casual playlist, none, or at the bare minimum, like very, very little. But again, though, just because there is no skill-based matchmaking, if it's still feeling like it is to an extent, it's probably just because players by default now, I feel like, are a lot better than what they once were. Now, the real reason as to why I've been yapping about this is because in a vast vast majority of my Xdefiant games today, I'm still again running into people that are jump shotting and going crazy with SMGs. It's like, I know it's not there, but then again, I also know that, of course, there's pub stompers. It's a new game. People want to go crazy. Just the players are better nowadays. Again, just wanted to bring that up because that was a topic of conversation on the stream earlier today. Overall, when it comes to the things that I really do enjoy about this game, I like the feel of the gunplay a lot. One thing that I really do like is, again, the mid-air strafing. I think that's a really cool movement mechanic. Oh, also, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but they do actually have input-based matchmaking in this game too, which is really, really nice to see. And of course, when it comes to the sniping, I do like the feel of the sniping. I'm still getting used to it. It still feels like smooth yet janky at the same time. I really don't know how to describe it. I've seen a lot of people talking about how, oh, sniping is so overpowered and things like that, but the reality of it is that it's overpowered if you're playing in the traditional sniping sense. Like, if you're sitting back, not moving, holding angles with the TAC 50, it's gonna seem absolutely insane for a game that has higher TTK. But the reality of it is that if you're someone who runs around in quickscopes all the time, that's your ADS speed. It's very, very slow. You have to stop moving and then ADS. It's one of these things, again, where you have to stop moving before you ADS, and then you'll get that nice ADS speed benefit. And really, in a game like this, again, with high TTKs, where there's certain operators like the Phantoms or the Liberty guys that have the higher health, the higher regen, like, sniping really is not overpowered in this game. At least to me. Maybe I'm biased, but the way that I'm looking at it, no, it's not. Now, I've also, again, mostly been using this TAC 50 here. It's got a really slow rechamber, or at least in comparison to the Mosin, the M44. It has a much slower ADS and rechamber time and things like that. I've seen a lot of people say that it's actually really, really good. Like, it's changed quite a bit from the last couple of beta playtests, so I don't know. I want to give that a try eventually. I again will say, though, when it comes to the red gunning in this game, I really do like the feel of it. I feel like it might be an unpopular opinion, but I am a fan of the higher, like, 150 TTK, 150 health, a little bit higher TTK, because it's really hardly any different to 100 HP at times. If anything, it just increases the skill gap. It makes the feeling of these one-on-one gunfight opportunities a little bit, I don't know, it just feels a little bit more fair. It's like it rewards you for being more accurate, yet also at the same time, you're not getting, like, insta-shredded. At times, whenever you get caught off guard, like, you feel like you have no chance to fight back. Of course, finding the balance and dynamic between sniping and red guns is always going to be very difficult in this technically higher setting of 150. I don't know, I just feel that with the higher TTK, it just ups the skill gap a little bit. And again, with the way that snipers typically tend to get balanced in these 150 HP kind of settings, they're a little bit slower, which I, again, typically don't really mind for the most part. It all really just depends. It's one of those things, again, where it's kind of hard to imagine if they didn't have shotguns and snipers and first-person shooters. The weapons that are meant to one-hit and how players use them and such. Again, though, I think the way they got the sniping in this game right now is pretty solid for the most part, because, again, you got so many red guns in this game that do such good damage, like the ACR, MP7, M4 is really good, AK. Especially if I'm playing aggressive up close, like, I'm gonna lose fights like that. Thing is, I know I'm annoyed by it, and I'm sure a lot of people are as well. No matter if you're sniping, red gunning, I just don't want to deal with a shield. Goodbye. The hero abilities. I'm gonna talk about that here in just a second, but especially with Phantoms and Liberty having the higher, even going to like 200 health, or that 120 health regen, it's very annoying for snipe. It's really just annoying for everybody, but I don't know, maybe that's just me as well. What I will say is my biggest problem with this game that I've been complaining about all throughout all the betas is the fact that the cursor comes up while you're playing on mouse and keys. I know this is going to be just a thing, oh, just play controller. When you're playing on mouse and keys, the second you die and that cursor comes up, the amount of times I have clicked off this game because of it. I got a really good clip of it. I'll go ahead and put it up on the screen for you guys right now. What ends up happening, right, if I get shot from the side and I turn to flick on somebody, but I die while I'm in the midst of turning towards my enemy, when the muscle memory's kicking in, flicking, and you start to click to, you know, fire back, by the point in time you're already dead, you've clicked off the game. And what makes it super obnoxious is there's an option here called lock mouse to game window. I am also playing this game in full screen mode. I'm playing the game in full screen mode. I should not be able to take my cursor off the side of my monitor like that. I just did it right there. It is by far my biggest annoyance with this game. In that menu right there, they shouldn't even give you the option to have your cursor come up. Like right here, no cursor, only hit Z, F, and C. The cursor should only come up when you're in that menu the moment you hit escape. Oh, that's another thing too. What is that hit marker? There's been so many times today where I'll get a hit marker on somebody like that and I just apparently do 0 damage to them. I don't understand how that happens. But yeah, again, when it comes to this menu right here, there just shouldn't be a cursor up until you hit escape. I feel like most people will naturally, when playing really any sort of video game or any respawn video game, people are just gonna spam F. They just spam F to just respawn back in. Like there's no need to have a cursor right there, at least in my opinion. Fell to my death, X spray paint, yes, haha, very funny, XD. XD? Xdefiant? Yeah, you're lying to my face about that hit marker, sure. Although I will say, I think it kind of goes to show that there's really not a lot that I really dislike with this game. Like, there really isn't. Like, not many things that I can think of off the top of my head, aside those little technical things. Like, that's really about it. Sniping feels really good. I really do like the feel of the TAC 50 a lot. Big fan of this sniper. The way that you chain the movement together and everything like that with the gunplay in this game is really, really nice. I like it a lot. Especially, again, with the sniping. I know the mechanics are a little bit different, a little bit slower, especially, again, when you're coming right out of the sprint. I don't entirely mind that, because it's like, yeah, to an extent, they want you to play, like, a little bit more defensively with it, but it's still not that bad. I feel like at this point in time, again, usually considering how snipers get treated in the higher TTK games, I'm used to them being a little bit slower, so it's okay to me. I don't know how true this is, but I did hear that the L96 is actually supposed to be coming to this game for Season 1, Collat. That would honestly be really, really cool to see, and again, in comparison, if it's true for Black Ops 6 as well, always having some sort of L96, love that sniper, always on board for that. I think the thing for me in this game, and just really a lot of these games that have these abilities, hero shooters, whatever you want to call them, they're always going to be a slight turnoff to me just because I'm just not used to it. It sounds really weird, right? Because I know that having these kind of like abilities and things like that really adds a whole new sort of depth to the game, right? It gives a game identity. It makes it stand out in comparison to something else, but I don't know if it's just me. I would rather lose gunfights to people that are just simply better than me, outgun me, out-aim me, rather than die to somebody with an ability. It really is a big part of the reason, like, for example, why I prefer Counter-Strike over Valorant, or why I would prefer something like a more grounded Call of Duty over something like a hero shooter. It's weird too, because I do like games like Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4, but at the same time, I am still so annoyed with abilities in those games. And that's the thing too, depending on what the game is, and depending on what the, I don't know, heroes and abilities are, the balance of the game revolves around that. Sure, of course, again, like weapon balance is a big thing too, because of course there are weapons that could be broken or, you know, too good for what it's worth. But I feel like when it boils down to hero abilities, it really just kind of comes down to that. And I think Xdefiant's also a little bit different in the sense that, yes, of course, there are abilities, but also at the same time, this game is definitely a more team-focused game. It's a very big part of the reason as to why I can imagine there's no free-for-all in this game right now. Of course, also as well, having heroes and abilities add in this really nice gameplay dynamic. In their own ways, it absolutely does increase the skill gap and again, gives a new sense of feeling to the game, but I don't know. For me, I just prefer no abilities. Which also is kind of funny because I've seen a lot of people on COD Twitter talking about how, oh man, I really wish Xdefiant had kill streaks or had a bare bones playlist. It's like, guys, we could just go play COD for that. And I think that's also a good and very important thing to realize as well, is that these games can just be their own thing. Like, it's good to have options. It's good to have both. It's always a good thing to have more options and more competition because it just has everyone hopefully pushed to do better. Overall though, I'd say I'm really enjoying my time with Xdefiant. I mean, I did during the betas. It's a pretty solid game. I like it for what it's worth. I think for a free-to-play shooter, it's something that the market has kind of needed for a little bit, like a really solid, nice, new first-person shooter that people can play full-time if they really wanted to. Like, if people want this to be their main game, they could. People could also play it during COD downtimes, Battlefield downtimes, Counter-Strike, Valorant, like, literally whatever it could be. Now, I feel like time will also tell depending on how everything goes, because usually with the nature of free-to-play games, we have seen games like, what was it, Hyperscape and Splitgate and things like that that really kind of came and gone really quickly. I don't think that's going to be the case with Xdefiant, at least I don't want it to be the case. The game is pretty solid again for what it's worth. I don't know how much I'm going to play it. I guess it really depends how this video does. I mean, honestly, this video is more yapping than anything, but that's not really a giant surprise for my videos. Honestly, depending on how this video goes, I mean, if you guys want to see me get like the gold TAC 50 or get gold snipers, I could probably do that. If you guys do want to see that kind of thing, like sniping highlights or, you know, getting gold snipers and things like that, do let me know that down in the comments. So with that all being said, go ahead and let me know down in the comment section below all of your thoughts and opinions on Xdefiant. Are you guys liking it so far? Do you like it? Dislike it? Let me know. I'll probably do some sniping on this game here and there, but it really all just depends. Again though, just go ahead and let me know of all of that. Thank you all so much for checking out this video. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. It's been Rage, and I will talk to you guys later. Take care, everybody.